I don't want people to be in the same boat as me. I want your boat to speed up because then again, that means I'm doing a good job as a teacher. If that's not happening, you're not a good teacher. You're just not.
Marielle,
Hi, Mike.
how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Let's just jump on in. So,
Okay.
I want to know how you got into content creation and UGC.
So I got into content creation about like 3 years ago. I'd say more like four, because I used to own a jewelry brand. And there's this guy named Gary Vee. I'm sure everyone knows him. He
Yep.
kept yelling about TikTok and how you need to be on TikTok. And if you own a brand and you're not on there, you're not really serious about your branding and your company and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, let me learn this whole video thing. Because one of the biggest things he said is like, even if you don't like use it for yourself, you can use it for like other companies and you can eventually like use that asset and throughout your career. And I was like, okay, let me just figure this out. So I pretty much started posting on TikTok like I'd say like 7 to 10 times a day because I knew nothing about video creation at all. And that's how I learned how to create content was posting 7 to 10 times a day. And within like 30 days, I'd say I had a video go viral for like the dumbest thing. And then I was like, okay, so this I'm getting this. I'm starting to understand this. So
What was that for your jewelry brand at the time, or
no,
that was just kind of like
I
personal
was
brand?
literally throwing stuff at the wall because
Yeah.
I just didn't know what worked. So I was like, what works, what doesn't work, and all this other stuff. So I just kept doing a bunch of different things. And it's literally the most randomest thing ever. Like I can send it to you if you'd like, if you want to just like blurt it in there, but it's literally a cookie. Like and it went viral. And it's like me putting a sound over a cookie and people were like obsessed with it. And then people were asking me for the recipe, and then I kind of did like a cute little series of me like making the cookies and blah blah blah. So yeah, that's
So, all right, so you had the jewelry brand,
yeah,
listened to Gary Vee, you got
yeah,
on TikTok.
yes.
Where did the transition to UGC happen from there?
So I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do next, and I was trying to. I've always loved making content. Like I'm an artist at heart, so I was like, how do I make content for brands if I'm not an influencer? And I've always wanted to, but the only way that I knew was through photography, because people make all those pretty pictures for like brands and things like that. So I had gotten a camera, I started getting all these props, and then UGC started popping up on my For You page. And I was like, what the hell is this? I was like, there's just no way because from everyone's understanding, it was just influencers,
Mhm.
right? And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna record my journey because if this is fake, then it's not gonna work, right? So I recorded it from the very beginning, and now it's what like almost 2 years now going in, and I've been doing it now. It's my full time thing.
So, what did that look like in the early days? Like, do you remember like your first deal, like how that went down? Were you reaching out to brands, or
So
you
I
were
was
still on that post seven
solely
times a day?
on no. So I kind of stopped doing that after a while. That was just the first like I'd say like 3 or 4 months, just because again I didn't know anything about video creation, so I had to teach myself.
Mhm.
It was when what's it called? The transition to UGC and like when it started and when I got my first deal. I mean, it was pretty quick, and I'm not gonna lie, it has to really do with the 3 years that I put in. Like, I want to I say that a lot in my content. I haven't said it recently, but like, I didn't just like pop on the train and be like, oh, I just want to do this. It was 3 years in the making, and then I eventually got a deal because I started to understand how to sell myself. Because I think that's one of the biggest things that a lot of creators don't know how to do, or people just in general. They have all these different like things that they know how to do, but they don't know how to like tell people like pay me to do
Right,
this for you.
right.
And I learned that myself by going on Fiverr because I started like studying a bunch of people who did what I did or did other things that attributed to what I do now. And I was like, oh, that's how they sell themselves. So I started just taking what they were doing and implementing it into my stuff. And that's how I got my first deal.
So, yeah, a lot of people, they kind of see like the end of the
They always
journey,
do
but they don't see that you were doing 7 to 10 TikToks per day, which
per
is
day.
a crazy amount
Yeah.
just to kind of learn how
Yeah.
it works. And it does take those reps, and maybe it took you a little bit shorter just because you were doing so many, but I think that's something that a lot of people overlook is like putting in the time to like
Yeah.
really learn that craft.
Yes. 100%. I think just with anything, like, I think people just, and it's just our age and our like the people in our generation, they just want things so instantly because they see other people, they think that other people get it instantly, so they think that it's going to happen for them, and it's just not how it works. Like you have to put in the reps in order to build the muscle that you
Mhm.
want to get for whatever you're doing.
Were you always someone who kind of like ran their own business, like worked like not like the traditional
Yeah, I'm not a
role?
girly that can do the corporate. I can't. I've realized that from a very young age. It's just not for me. I like making my own schedule. I like the flexibility. If I didn't have the flexibility, I wouldn't be here. Like, I'd have to, like, put in my 2, I have to request time off and tell them that, like, and I just think, like, to each his own, but to me, that's just, like, an insane way to live. Like, you give so much to these companies, and then you have to ask for permission to get some time off. It's like, give me your life, but you still have to ask me permission to
Right.
take time off. Like, I don't like that.
So what's your kind of like I guess client setup right now? You have like a handful of like brands that you work with on retainer. You mainly doing like the Fiverr stuff right now. What's up, guys? It's Mike here from BrandsMeCreators, and I truly believe that in the near future, every brand will have their own in-house team of content creators. However, there isn't really a platform out there right now that helps to facilitate this, right? All of the platforms out there, I felt like were very transactional, meant for kind of this short-term relationship. And so what we wanted to do was build something that was designed for long-term partnerships between brands and content creators. A platform where you as a content creator could connect directly with the brands. And so that's what we just finished building at BrandsMeCreators. Right now we have a ton of brands on the platform that are looking for content creators, looking for UGC creators. And so if you want to start working with some brands and you want a platform that doesn't control your usage rights, lets you set your own rates, your own terms, and actually connects you with the brands for long-term partnerships and is completely free, go check out brandsmecreators.com. Go start applying to some of those opportunities.
So right now I'm transitioning off of Fiverr,
Okay.
which has been very interesting for me because I've been just solely dependent on Fiverr for a very long time. And I think Fiverr really reminds me of when I was like an Amazon seller. It's a great platform to start on, but you essentially don't want to stay there because then they own you.
Right.
And that's where I'm at right now. I'm starting to slowly transition and starting to reach out to more brands, and that's what I'm doing now. So right now it's 50. My goal is to be 50% Fiverr and then 50% brand outreach right now for this year. And then the following year, I want to lessen Fiverr even more, where it's like 20%.
So this was completely unplanned, but I'm gonna plug Brands Me Creators right here, the platform that we're building. This is like the exact thing that we're trying to solve for, where there's all these platforms out there that
Yeah.
they help brands and creators find each other, but it's very transactional and they
Hmm.
want you to stay on the platform because that's the
Yes.
only way they make their money. And so what we're trying to do is basically flip that on its head and just connect brands and creators directly. Because where I think it's going is kind of where you want to go, right? You want to work like directly with that brand,
Yeah.
potentially work like in house with
I wanna
them
take
or
the
like
middleman
along.
out. I don't
Exactly.
want that guy anymore.
Yeah.
It's too much because now what's happening is, which I'm noticing, is a lot of people hire, like, their influencer, like, manager, and they're reaching out to me, or it's a freelance influencer manager.
Yep.
They're reaching out to me. They get a cut from my cut, and then they charge a premium to the brands, which, look, to each his own, a business is a business, but I don't want them
You just
anymore.
want to work direct.
I wanna work directly to the brand because
Yeah.
it just creates a better relationship, and it allows you to do that relationship where it's, a retainer. That's how you're able to get retainers is when you create that one-on-one relationship because now they feel like, "Oh, I know this person. They're a really great creator. I don't have to deal with a middle person." And it allows for things to just happen faster. When you're dealing with a middleman, there's an additional 20 steps that are added that people don't really think that are added, but it is added. And it takes longer just to create the content, and then you have to get content. It's just a horrible train.
It's one more
Yeah.
chain in the
Yeah, it's just really
communication.
annoying.
Like, yeah. What would be your like ideal setup in terms of the clients you have? Do you want like one huge client that's like your main focus? Would you like to have like five retainers? I know Fiverr is a very like one off here and there.
I would like to have 5 retainers in different niches.
Okay.
I am a multifaceted person. I work better when I'm doing multiple things. That's why I owned a jewelry business and wanted to have a 9 to 5 and do all these like other things. That's just how I am. That's why I'm a yoga instructor.
Mhm.
I can't just do one thing, and that even goes with my work. That's another reason why I love doing UGC is because I don't need to pick a niche. Like I can do whatever I want, and that's what I do now. So like I do travel stuff, I do tech stuff, I do finance stuff, I do beauty stuff, I do all of it, which allows me not to get bored. And I don't want my work to get boring. So that's why I don't ever want to be like stuck to like one retainer
Right.
client.
I wanna talk about this for a minute because it's a question that we get all the time. It's
Okay.
like, I feel like I don't have a niche. Like I have so many things I'm interested in. I want to be kind of like a lifestyle creator. Like how do you balance that? Having like a ton of interest and like wanting to talk about a ton of different topics.
In what sense do you mean? Like when I'm creating content for like TikTok and stuff?
Yeah.
Or
Like
so
let's talk about your personal content for now.
I mean, I'm all over the place. I'm gonna be honest with you. I really am. I don't really have like I don't have a niche. Like I talk about everything. I talk about how you can get brands from Amazon and how it's easy, how you just like message them through Instagram or you find their email through Instagram. I also talk about working with apps where you can find their email if you go on the app store and then you can find the tech support and then you email them. And then eventually like I don't have a niche.
Do
Like
you,
I just talk about everything.
do you find that it's like harder to grow because you don't have a niche, or you kind of just the algorithm has just been like finding your person for you?
I honestly think it is harder for me to grow, but I'm okay with that because I like I know this is going to sound weird. I don't want to be like I don't want to have a million followers. That freaks me out because I don't feel like you can have a sense of community when you have that many people. And I like the one-on-one interactions that I get with a lot of UGC creators where they message me or voice note me on Instagram, and if they have a question, I answer it right away. I don't think I would be able to do that if I had like 500,000 followers. Like
Right.
I would cap it. Like I literally would stop posting content once I hit like 100,000 followers cuz I want to have that sort of community where people can like lean on me and be like, "Hey, I need help with something," and not have to wait 3 weeks or like sign up to this sign up to this sign up in order to get in touch with me. Like I just don't think that's a sense of community and I don't want to build my platform that way. I'd rather have those one-on-one interactions with people where it's like more memorable and I actually feel like I know this person. You know what
Right.
I mean? And they're not like a number in my book.
Have you mainly been focusing on TikTok? Is it TikTok, Instagram? Like, what are the platforms
So
that you would recommend?
I mean, it's to each his own, right? Like if you're an aesthetically pleasing person, you like aesthetics, by all means go hop on Instagram. That's not my thing. I like TikTok because I can just hop on and talk about a bunch of different topics and people don't get upset with me. I feel like on Instagram, people expect you, like
Yeah.
if you talk about plants, you better talk about plants the whole time because the moment you're like, I traveled to go pick up a plant, they're like, you're talking about traveling. We don't want to do anything with you anymore. I feel like that's how Instagram is. But TikTok's more so like, oh, if you like to travel, if you like to do this, and you like to do that, we let you do all of it and we'll help you find your people. But yeah, I don't know. To me, I do TikTok, Twitter, and then now I'm going to start doing LinkedIn.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so that's the scare. I'm a little nervous about that one.
LinkedIn, I love LinkedIn. I've kind of stopped posting recently, but we've seen creators have like a huge success
Yes,
posting there. It's like way less saturated than a
yes,
lot of the other
which I've heard.
platforms. Yeah. And it's good for like sizable brands too. Like big brands, like that a lot of times that's like the first place they'll look is
Uh-huh.
LinkedIn. So yeah, I would highly recommend it. Also for
Okay.
anyone else that's like getting started and they're kind of picking their platforms, LinkedIn is one that you definitely want to check out.
Yeah, so LinkedIn is the new one. I'm dibbly dabbling like little by little. I'm
All right.
figuring it out.
So, final question for you. I want to know your like number one secret sauce, something that you do that you think a lot of other creators don't do, but it would be worthwhile for someone starting out to at least like look into this. Could be anything, a tip, a strategy,
Oh my God.
a mindset. I know it's a tough one.
I know it's a really good question. That's why I'm like, what is one thing that I do that's different from everyone else? I think it's more so like the way I communicate with my community, honestly. I think that's like one of my biggest things because I do get a lot of people saying like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you actually like answered me and you reached out and you sent me a voice note and you answered my questions and you helped me. You're so helpful." I think that's one thing I try to be this is the best way to put it. I try to be the big sister UGC for people or like just like I just try to help as much as possible because
Right.
no one helped me. So I figured it all on my own. And if I can cut that for people and accelerate their path to beat me, like that makes me so happy. Like I love when people surpass me that I've taught. That means I'm actually a good teacher. I don't want people to be in the same boat as me. I want your boat to speed up because then again, that means I'm doing a good job as a teacher. If that's not happening, you're not a good teacher. You're just not.
Marielle, amazing conversation. Thank you. Thank you guys for watching.